Our journey begins in the heart of ancient China, where the Silk Road starts its winding path. Merchants, carrying bolts of shimmering silk, traverse arid deserts and snowy mountains. Camels loaded with precious cargo create a rhythmic procession across the horizon. It is here, amidst the dust and sun, that the seeds of global trade are sown. Ideas, art, and technology move as freely as the silk itself, connecting civilizations separated by vast distances. In the bustling markets of Samarkand, spices scent the air. Traders from Persia, India, and China exchange goods and stories. Each coin and silk scarf carries a tale of distant lands. Merchants negotiate in a blend of languages, while scholars sketch maps and record astronomical observations, blending commerce with knowledge. The city becomes a crossroads not only for goods, but for culture and innovation. Across the vast deserts of Central Asia, caravans face sandstorms and treacherous paths. Survival depends on meticulous planning. Water sources and oasis towns dictate the rhythm of trade. The harsh landscape teaches resilience, patience, and the strategic mind of ancient merchants. Every successful journey strengthens trade networks and forges alliances that ripple through empires. The Indian Ocean trade routes open a world of maritime adventure. Arab, Indian, and later European ships sail under monsoon winds, laden with spices, ivory, and precious stones. The oceans become highways of wealth, linking the coasts of Africa, the Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia. Knowledge of tides, stars, and winds is as valuable as the cargo itself, and skilled navigators are revered. Venice emerges as a hub for European trade. Its canals bustle with gondolas carrying silks, spices, and artworks. Merchants' palaces showcase the wealth accrued from distant lands. Here, European demand shapes the flow of Eastern goods, creating a delicate balance of power, diplomacy, and commerce that will define centuries. Across the Sahara Desert, the trans-Saharan trade routes link West Africa to the Mediterranean. Caravans of camels, laden with gold, salt, and kola nuts, traverse miles of shifting sand. Towns like Timbuktu become centers of knowledge, where libraries flourish alongside marketplaces. Trade here is not just commerce. It is a vehicle of ideas, religion, and innovation that spreads across continents. The Mediterranean Sea becomes a crossroads of empires. Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans navigate its waters, exchanging olive oil, wine, and ceramics. Ports buzz with sailors and merchants, and maritime knowledge spreads alongside goods. Naval power is as important as economic power, and coastal cities thrive on their ability to control trade and diplomacy. In the deserts of Arabia, frankincense and myrrh caravans travel from the southern Arabian Peninsula to the Levant. Bedouin tribes guide traders across treacherous terrain, balancing tradition with profit. These fragrant resins are treasured in temples and palaces far from their origin, illustrating how even the smallest commodities can connect worlds and religions. The Silk Road doesn't just transport silk, it carries religion, philosophy, and technology. Buddhist monks travel alongside merchants, spreading scriptures and art. Compass techniques, paper-making skills, and astronomical knowledge flow westward, altering the course of European history centuries later. Trade here becomes a conduit for human progress itself. Across the Indian Ocean, Malacca becomes a thriving trade hub. Ships from China, India, and Arabia anchor at its harbor, exchanging silk, spices, porcelain, and exotic animals. The city thrives on diplomacy and trade regulations, showing that commerce is not only about goods, but also about governance and cultural understanding. In West Africa, the Kingdom of Ghana thrives on gold trade. Gold dust is measured with precision, forming the basis of wealth and diplomacy. Traders from North Africa cross the Sahara to acquire gold, which later enters European markets. Here, wealth is tangible, and the rhythm of trade dictates politics, alliances, and conflicts. The Mediterranean trade also fuels the rise of the Venetian arsenal. Ships are built with precision, stocked for distant voyages. Trade networks demand naval innovation. Catapults, fortifications, and navigational tools evolve. Venice illustrates how trade encourages technological and military advancements in tandem. The city of Constantinople dominates the crossroads between Europe and Asia. Goods from the Silk Road, the Mediterranean, and the Black Sea converge here. Markets overflow with silks, spices, and precious metals. Diplomatic envoys arrive alongside merchants, highlighting how trade and politics are inseparable. The city becomes a hub of culture, knowledge, and economic power. The Spice Islands, modern-day Indonesia, attract European traders seeking nutmeg, cloves, and mace. Portuguese and Dutch ships navigate treacherous waters, competing for monopoly. Local rulers negotiate carefully, knowing that control of spices equals power. These islands demonstrate how even the smallest commodities can spark global rivalry. Along the Nile, grain trade sustains empires. Egypt exports surplus wheat to Mediterranean ports, feeding distant populations. Sailors and merchants load cargo along the riverbanks, coordinating shipments with precision. Grain becomes both food and currency, influencing politics, social stability, and international relations. The caravan cities of Central Asia, such as Bokhara, flourish as trade centers. Gold, silk, ceramics, and salt pass through its gates. Scholars, artists, and traders coexist, creating an environment where commerce fuels culture. Each successful transaction strengthens networks that stretch across continents, linking Europe, Asia, and Africa. The Amber Road stretches across Europe, linking the Baltic Sea to the Mediterranean. Amber, prized for its beauty, travels hundreds of miles by land and sea. Towns along the route prosper, while craftsmen, merchants, and nobles shape the flow of wealth. The road is a testament to how desire for rare commodities influences economies and culture. The Trans-Pacific trade emerges centuries later, connecting China, Japan, and Southeast Asia. Porcelain, tea, and silk move to foreign markets, while silver flows back. Merchants navigate typhoons and unfamiliar seas, relying on maps and celestial navigation. Trade here demonstrates how oceans become conduits of cultural and economic exchange across vast distances. The Hanseatic League unites northern European cities through trade. Timber, furs, and grains flow along the Baltic and North Seas. Merchants develop legal codes, guilds, and alliances, showing that trade fosters not only wealth but also governance, law, and cooperation among distant cities. In the Americas, the Inca road system links highland cities with coastal ports. Llamas carry coca leaves, textiles, and precious metals along steep Andean paths. Runners convey messages and goods rapidly, creating a highly organized network. This internal trade system highlights how infrastructure and communication drive empires from within. The Ottoman Empire controls key trade routes between Europe and Asia. Istanbul thrives as a hub of silk, spices, coffee, and textiles. Caravans, ships, and bustling bazaars demonstrate a fusion of East and West. The Ottomans implement customs, regulations, and infrastructure to sustain long-distance trade, showing that governance and commerce are inseparable. The overland caravan routes of Mongolia carry furs, horses, and salt across the steppe. Nomadic tribes manage logistics, protecting merchants while maintaining mobility. Trade here is intertwined with survival, diplomacy, and culture. Each transaction weaves a network that stretches across Asia, linking distant civilizations. The North American fur trade links indigenous tribes with European settlers. Beaver pelts are exchanged for tools, textiles, and guns. Rivers become highways of trade, and alliances are formed carefully. Commerce here shapes settlement patterns, diplomacy, and even conflict across the continent. The Hanseatic League cities in the Baltic Sea develop innovative banking and accounting methods. Trade in timber, herring, and salt fuels city wealth. Guilds regulate quality and prices, while alliances defend merchant interests. Economic intelligence becomes as valuable as physical goods. In West Africa, the city of Djenné thrives on both salt and gold trade. Markets overflow with traders from across the continent. Education, religion, and commerce intersect in its mud brick architecture. Each trade transaction strengthens regional and trans-Saharan networks, demonstrating how wealth and knowledge travel hand in hand. The Silk Road reaches the shores of the Black Sea, where Byzantine and Ottoman ports facilitate trade between Europe and Asia. Ships loaded with silk, spices, and ceramics dock at bustling harbors. Trade here reinforces cultural exchange, bringing music, art, and cuisine across continents. The Silk Road's influence reaches Europe during the Renaissance. Italian city-states import silks and spices, fueling wealth and patronage of the arts. Scholars study Asian philosophies, and scientific knowledge travels westward. Trade ignites curiosity, creativity, and the birth of modern European thought. The European age of exploration is fueled by trade ambitions. Ships sail to Africa, Asia, and the Americas in search of gold, spices, and new markets. Trade routes become global highways, linking continents. Knowledge of winds, currents, and navigation spreads, transforming commerce and connecting the world like never before. The Atlantic slave trade shows the dark side of commerce. Human lives are commodified alongside sugar, tobacco, and cotton. Port cities in Europe and the Americas grow wealthy, but at unimaginable human cost. Trade here teaches that commerce can shape societies profoundly, for better or worse. Today, modern trade routes, land, sea, and air stand on the shoulders of centuries of history. The Silk Road, spice routes, trans-Saharan paths, and maritime highways shaped our world. Understanding these routes teaches us that commerce is not merely economic. It carries culture, ideas, and humanity across borders, connecting us all.